Hello and welcome to this week's coffee vlog. So it's Friday the 30th of August. It's 5:30. We're about to set off home. Yeah, it's been an interesting week, to be honest. Since last Friday. I was heading off from Copenhagen back home. Yeah, the weekend was okay, really. Saturday went to the park and magnet fishing. Managed to lose the magnets. Yes, don't even ask about that. Apparently the hook that you tie your rope to on the magnet unscrews from the actual magnet itself. Who know? Me now, apparently. So yeah, so all the throwing it in and pulling it back to recover various bits of junk out of the lake and also the park pond gradually unscrewed it, but I'd not noticed it was unscrewing because I didn't even realise it screwed in. I thought it was welded. So the last throw in, reeling it back in, I thought, it suddenly got very light. I wonder why that is. And the reason was because I was just pulling a hook. It just unscrewed itself, so that was very annoying. So I've ordered another magnet so we can go fishing for our magnets. What's it like? So that was that, but it was a good sunny day out, nice and hot. Sunday went to York, and that was another lovely day. Reasonably okay. It was a bit busy because, of course, Leeds Festival was on, so that slowed the journey down a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. We got there, spent time there, and then came back. So my Sublime Sunday mostly consisted of pictures taken in York again. Monday, bank holiday, yay, day off work. And yeah, we got packed up and headed to Blackpool, which did take a while. There was a heck of a lot of traffic when it was joining the M6. But once I got into the Blackpool dual carriageway, that was fine. Pardon me. Oh dear. So yeah, that was all good. Dropped them off in Blackpool. Didn't spend ages because I didn't want to hit all the traffic coming back again. So as I had to come back and work Tuesday, so came back, and then Tuesday back at work. So laptop, as you may recall, my MacBook Pro was ailing last Friday. Well, Thursday it started just shutting off randomly. So the Friday I'd stripped out the whole motherboard from the MacBook, did the reflow hot air gun fix, because that's what's supposed to be wrong with the GPU. It needed reflowing, remelting the solder that got cracks in it from the years of getting too hot. And cleaned up all the fans and applied new thermal paste so it runs super cool. And once I'd done all that, it'd been running fine for me on the Friday, but when I'd left it and come back, it had decided completely that it was going to need some fuel. It was it had shut off, it had rebooted itself, so that was very annoying. So I kind of left it at that. Oh, I don't know, maybe it's not fixed it or whatever. So Tuesday back at work, did about an hour and a half of me sort of sat using it. Then I'd gone off and done something and left it on its own, come back again, it rebooted, but it had at least rebooted to the login screen, whereas before it was kind of rebooting to nothing, completely black, because none of the graphics was coming up. So I thought, oh, that's not so bad, so did that again. And it repeated this cycle, but only ever when I left it alone. It was fine while I was using it, which seemed a bit odd. But then I recalled when I was looking up the issue that there was a bug with the graphics for Catalina anyway, the new Mac OS. So thought, oh, hang on, what's this? And it said that the fix that people had found for it was to use amphetamine. Not actually take it, the drug. The app for Mac OS X, amphetamine, it keeps the Mac awake, so it basically runs tasks in the background, so the Mac won't sleep or try and go to any saving modes at all. So if you run that, it wouldn't do this crash. So I downloaded that, installed it, set it off running, and all day Tuesday, not a problem. Worked fine. Amazing. So basically, MacBook Pro is fixed for now. We'll continue this after I've got some fuel and drop my parcels off. Oh, that took longer than expected. My favourite petrol station guy was in a talkative mood again, so he's telling me all about Brexit and big business taking all the money and stuff, as he likes doing. Mr. Nellis will do you when we get home, because there's no one there because they're all in Blackpool. And I know for a fact that young Ellis has gone to Bridlington with his family, so he won't be annoying me, and probably it's a bit dark for Colby to be out, so, well, dark's grey, not so very nice weather. So we'll get out of the petrol station, clear the pump for someone who wants fuel instead of listening to me waffle on, and do Mr. Ellis when we get back home. So MacBook Pro is fixed for now, presumably. I also did, there was an update, another update to the Catalina beta, which installed last night, and I copied back my old Parallels Windows 10 desktop after the update, and it's all working perfectly now with Parallels, and the Mac and all the files that are supposed to be syncing are syncing, so that's all fixed, which is fantastic. Everything works, Word works again, and Excel and everything, because this was pre the problem one, and obviously the problem was to do with the particular beta, and they fixed it in the latest update, so that's fantastic. Everything's working as it should do on the Mac. I've been using it all today, no problems, no crashes, everything worked perfect, so happy about that. But still, I was concerned about the fact, because I had this graphics issue, and everything I've read about it says that once you do this reflow fix on the graphics card, it's not like a fix forever, it's a buying yourself time fix, as in it will eventually incur the same problem. Might be in 6 months, might be in a year, might be less than 6 months, don't really know, but it's like a temporary solution to the problem. So given the fact I use the MacBook Pro all day every day for work, and it does everything from printing labels, websites and website design and updating things and everything, does so much, and when it's not working right, it's complete, well, I say it's a complete pain when I was trying to sort it all out. And my Air laptop I use on a night isn't up to the job at all of doing it, because I tried that last Friday while I was taking the other one bits, and it just wasn't a great solution using the Air, because it's not powerful enough at all to run everything going that I need. So with all that in mind, I've been keeping an eye out on updating to a newer MacBook Pro, and then I'll sell on the other one, obviously stating the problem that I had, and if I start it at low auction value, I should be able to get about half what I've paid for a not brand new, few years old one, newer. No bus today.
Warning, speed limit 30 miles per hour.
So I've been keeping an eye out on an auction. seen a 2016 equivalent one going cheap because it got some scratches on the bodywork, but it was functioning perfectly. The screen was okay. So I've kept an eye on that, and it had been going about £800, which is not bad at all for a 16GB and RAM and 500GB SSD 15-inch MacBook 2016 with touch bar. So about £800, that was alright. We went to auction, it was that right up until 30 seconds. I put bid up to £950, and it climbed and it climbed, and someone put it a bit over my £950, which was my top sort of bid. So got outbid on that one. I wasn't paid any more because there was quite a large amount of cosmetics, you know, damage to the edges and things. So I didn't want to pay loads for a really badly damaged one. So I was like, that's annoying. So I've been through hunting through eBay again, and I managed to find another 2016 one just like that one, 16GB RAM, 500GB SSD. Someone wanted $1,050 for it. I thought that's going to be all right for me, but I'll make an offer of $999, just a pound under $1,000. See if he'll take that or not. And it did, which is quite good. Because the one thing is, because I do a lot on eBay, I've got ridiculously good feedback and like 6K sort of feedback ratings. So you know, if you want to sell something high end, you kind of want your buyer to be reliable and not going to stitch you up and going to pay for it. And because I've got such good feedback, normally can pull a bit of a weight that way. So fingers crossed that will all go okay. Again, the seller seemed quite reputable, and he sold quite a lot of high-end electronics in the last few months, high value stuff that had got positive feedback for it, arrived perfectly and no problems, so not too concerned that way either. When I got this MacBook I have, I actually ordered one before and paid for it, and it never came, and that was a lot more money back then. I managed to get it back in the end through the PayPal buyer protection thing, but it did take a few weeks, and it was a bit, because it was a lot of money. It was a hell of a lot of money, and to not get anything, so it's always left me a little bit cautious since then, especially about feedback when I'm buying high value things and whatever else. So we shall see what happens. I was said to the buyer not to send it till Monday because he's on my way. So yes, so I'm quite excited about that. Get the new MacBook, restore from the backup of my current one, wipe the current one, and we'll see what happens. Ooh, taxi trying to get himself smashed into. So that'll kind of resolve that issue, and then sell the other one, and I should get about half back for the old one, even considering. So got me looking around, there's people selling equivalent of mine for quite a lot more, actually, around 600, 700 still. It's a 2013, so it's quite an old model, but I'm thinking I'm gonna, because it's got this graphics issue, which again, you can actually get it fixed. You can either take it somewhere and have the graphics chip replaced completely, there's third parties that'll do it, or you can take it to Apple and they'll just fit a new logic board, I think. Not really sure about that. I'm sure Apple will still do repairs even though it's a 2013 one. They're normally pretty good on that sort of stuff. So It's got some good value in it. In worst cases, there's quite a few you see where people have got like smashed screens or whatever else, where you could pick up, bust up one that way and swap out the motherboard. That'd work quite well as well. I did think about all these things, but then I decided just wasting loads of time that I don't really have anyway, pulling things to bits and putting them back together just to make it, isn't really worth it compared to, like I say, because I've gone to only a few years old. That should, I mean, this one's done, it was a 2013 and I think it was about a year and a half old when I got it. So it's still done me like maybe 4.5 years. Good service all day, like I say, working. So it's done, it's paid its dues actually. So I'm thinking if I you know, get rid of it before it pegs it completely, rather than just stick with it and then be stuck with an unfunctioning one eventually. It's a better idea, and also I'm not dealing with the issue of when it pegs out, I've got no working computer to use, and then I'm going to have to mess about, and because it's pegged out I won't be able to restore from backup and lose loads of data. Not worth the hassle. So that should all be sorted out. Like I say, tomorrow I will be going back to Blackpool until Monday. I'm having Monday off, bringing them back Monday afternoon or evening or whatever. So let's see what Mr. Nellis had to say. Oh, also, I'd been quite worried. I'd not seen the Running Man in Pink for ages. But this morning I saw him on the way to work. As I was going underneath the flyover in Halifax to go to work, he was running along the road up above in his pink shorts and pink beanie. So I don't know, because I've not seen him about for quite a while now. So I don't know where he'd been, but he's definitely still about and running, alive and kicking. So Mr. Nellis says, my things to talk about on your vlog. My dad and Gio, as they've been to Wayne House Tower on Sunday morning. Marvellous. Me, as I've been to Lightcliff Tea Rooms with my mum on Sunday afternoon. I hope you drank lots of coffee. Star Wars Galaxy Edge at Disney World in California. The new Star Wars magazines and Sky Cinema Star Wars. It's a lot of Star Wars, Richard. The closed down of Richard Dunn Sports Centre, which the centre will close at the end of October. Yeah, it's a shame that. And they're gonna, I don't know what they're building there. I think it's going to be like a retail park or something. Have you seen the toy horse hanging out of the wheelie bin of Queensbury Road last week? No, I haven't. Still annoying roadworks though at Queensbury. Right, there you are. So that's it. That's pretty much my week. Hang on. My wheelie bin was out and it's disappeared. Some thief has half-inched it, I'm thinking. I shall be recovering that shortly if I'll do it now. So have a good weekend, week next week, and I'll catch you in next week's coffee vlog. Okay, see ya.